Virginia Beach is one of the most popular beaches along the East Coast, and if you've ever been up there, you probably drove past historic Fort Monroe.
The forming Army post played a major role in the Civil War, and it also served as a gateway for freedom to thousands of enslaved African Americans.
In fact, at least one historian compares the fort to New York's famed Ellis Island. Don Roberts shows us why in today's Hidden History.
The Ellis Island, New York, was the gateway to freedom for millions of European immigrants. They fled poverty and oppression for a chance to achieve the American dream. Well, one noted historian says there was another Ellis Island for African Americans.
In 1619, a ship with about 20 African captives comes into the Chesapeake Bay, lands at Fort Monroe, which was then called Fort Algernon. It really started with three very brave young men, Frank Baker, James Townsend, and Shepard Mallory, who were enslaved men in the Hampton Roads area. They had been conscripted, forced basically, into providing labor for the Confederate Army. They escaped, and they came to the fort and presented themselves to the Union sentries and asked to be sheltered.
Shortly after Baker, Townsend, and Mallory made their way through those gates and were given asylum here at Fort Monroe, the word spread like wildfire, and within months, hundreds of escaped slaves made their way to the fort and were also given asylum. They were declared contraband of war. The word continued to spread, and shortly after that, thousands of escaped slaves found their way to Fort Monroe. Being declared contraband meant they were still considered property, and they were put to work for the Union Army in the fields wherever needed until emancipation in 1863. I'm Don Roberts reporting.